Lebanon's breathtaking Baalbek ruins.
The megalithic stones found here are among the largest on the planet.
Beneath layers of soil in southeastern Turkey, a prehistoric temple lay hidden, not by time, but by choice.
Göbekli Tepe, brother, if there's such a thing as an ancient conspiracy theory, it's this.
Dating more than 11,500 years ago.
Göbekli Tepe wasn't destroyed or forgotten. It was intentionally buried. Its towering stone pillars, older than Stonehenge and the pyramids, were carefully entombed by the very people who built them. Thousands of years later, when the earth was peeled back, archaeologists were left with a question more unsettling than any myth. Why would an ancient society hide its most advanced achievement? What they unearthed wasn't just a structure, it was a message, sealed beneath centuries of dust, and it was only the beginning. The puzzle in the earth. In the hills near Şanlıurfa, Turkey, archaeologists expected to find nothing more than a typical Neolithic village. What they uncovered instead redefined everything we thought we knew about the birth of civilization. At the site known as Göbekli Tepe, towering T-shaped pillars, some weighing over 10 tons, stood arranged in perfect circles. Their surfaces bore reliefs of scorpions, lions, and vultures, all carved with precision that defied the presumed skills of Stone Age humans. Radiocarbon dating placed the construction at around 9,600, before Common Era, 7,000 years before the pyramids. But what truly shocked researchers wasn't just the age or craftsmanship. It was the revelation that the entire site had been deliberately buried. Stone by stone, the builders had packed their creation with rubble and earth, preserving it for reasons no one can fully explain. This wasn't the random chaos of time. It was a decision, an act of preservation, or concealment, on a monumental scale. Theories range from ritual closure to protection from a coming cataclysm. Some even suggest they were hiding knowledge too dangerous or sacred to remain exposed. Whatever the motive, it set the stage for a mystery that spans continents. Because Göbekli Tepe wasn't an isolated anomaly, it was the first breadcrumb. Echoes in stone. Roughly 1,200 kilometers southwest of Göbekli Tepe, another silent guardian watches the horizon. The Great Sphinx of Giza, carved from a single mass of limestone, has stood for millennia as a symbol of ancient Egypt's grandeur. But even here, the stone whispers of an older story. While conventional Egyptology attributes the Sphinx to Pharaoh Khafra, dating it to around 2,500 before Common Era, geologist Robert Schoch sparked controversy by proposing a radically earlier date, possibly 7,000 before Common Era, based on water erosion patterns along its body. Such weathering could only have occurred during a time when Egypt's climate was dominated by heavy rainfall, conditions not seen since the end of the last ice age. This theory aligns with an ancient Egyptian legend, Zeb Tepi, the first time, a mythical golden age when gods walked among humans and laid the foundations of civilization. Some believe this is more than just allegory, that it points to a now-lost culture, one that may have built monuments long before the dynasties we know. Beneath the Sphinx and the Giza Plateau, rumors persist of something even stranger: hidden chambers, sealed tunnels, and a possible hall of records buried beneath the sand. Modern scans using ground-penetrating radar have hinted at anomalies, voids, and shafts that seem anything but natural. If these are remnants of a much older civilization, then Egypt, like Göbekli Tepe, may have inherited knowledge rather than invented it. And that knowledge didn't just shape what they built, it determined what they chose to bury. The blueprint that shouldn't exist. High in the Andes, far from the deserts of Egypt or the plains of Anatolia, ancient engineers carved cities into the bones of mountains. The Inca, along with their predecessors like the Tiwanaku and Wari, constructed architectural marvels that defy modern explanation, not because of their scale, but because of their precision. At sites like Sacsayhuaman and Ollantaytambo, massive stone blocks weighing up to 120 tons were fitted together without mortar. Their polygonal shapes interlocked so precisely that not even a blade of grass can pass between them. This wasn't trial and error, it was intention. But perhaps the most baffling example is Pumapunku, a ceremonial complex near Lake Titicaca. There, H-shaped stones carved from andesite, a rock harder than steel, feature machine-like grooves, right angles, and perfect boreholes. Modern stonemasons admit that replicating such detail would require diamond tools and laser-guided equipment. Yet, Pumapunku was built without metal tools, the wheel, or written blueprints. The purpose of these sites remains as enigmatic as their construction. Some believe they were observatories, others say temples, but the real puzzle is how such advanced methods appeared in isolation. There are no evolutionary steps, just a sudden emergence of high engineering knowledge, as if someone handed down a template. And curiously, the same story unfolds across the globe. Civilizations solving problems centuries ahead of their time, then suddenly stopping. No gradual decline, no diffusion, just abrupt silence. These are not the fingerprints of trial and error. They are the blueprints of something bigger, something inherited, remembered, or perhaps rediscovered. Cities that watch the sky. While engineers shaped stone, skywatchers shaped time. In civilizations across the ancient world, architecture didn't just serve function, it encoded celestial knowledge. At Chichen Itza, deep in the jungles of the Yucatan, the Maya built the pyramid of Kukulkan with astonishing precision. Each year, during the equinoxes, a shadow in the form of a serpent slithers down its staircase, connecting heaven to earth in a play of light that lasts mere minutes. But what's even more astonishing is the sound. Clap once at the pyramid's base, and the echo returns not as a simple bounce, but as a bird-like chirp, matching the call of the sacred Quetzal. This wasn't a coincidence. It was acoustics encoded in stone, without computers, without microphones. In the rose-red cliffs of Petra, the Nabateans aligned their temples to capture the exact moment of sunrise on the solstice, flooding sanctuaries with light once a year in a divine choreography. And thousands of kilometers away in China, the builders of ancient observatories like Gao Cheng and Deng Feng tracked solar cycles with massive stone pillars and shadow-coasting towers. Their armillary spheres mapped the heavens with such accuracy that they could predict eclipses and measure seasonal shifts to within a fraction of a day. None of these civilizations shared language, geography, or politics, and yet all embedded the sky into stone with a consistency that suggests more than cultural coincidence. It hints at a unifying motive, that time itself was sacred, and that architecture could serve as a calendar long after memory fades. And across these cities, designed to echo, to align, to awaken, one pattern recurs. The knowledge was always precise until it suddenly vanished. The things they never finished. Not every monument was completed. Some were left behind mid-sentence, as if the builders vanished between thoughts. In the highlands of Lebanon, the ancient site of Baalbek holds the largest hewn stones ever quarried, monoliths weighing over 1,000 tons, carved with perfect flatness, then abandoned. The Stone of the Pregnant Woman, as it's called, lies half buried in its trench, its surface weathered by time, but never touched by construction. A few meters away, even larger blocks remain entombed in bedrock, some estimated at 1,600 tons. No civilization we know, Roman, Phoenician, or otherwise, had the capacity to move them. So, why did they carve them? In China's Yangshan quarry, the pattern repeats. There, a 16,000-ton stele base was meticulously cut from the mountainside during the Ming Dynasty. It was supposed to be part of an imperial monument, but halfway through, the project was abandoned. Had they miscalculated its size? Or had something more urgent halted the work? Then there's Rapa Nui, or Easter Island, where dozens of Moai statues, some weighing over 80 tons, remain frozen mid-transport. Tools were dropped, stones were left half-shaped. These were not natural pauses in progress, they were abrupt ends. Some believe these sites reflect over-ambition. Others suggest disaster, war, or collapse. But one theory lingers. Perhaps the builders knew something was coming. Perhaps the decision to leave their greatest works incomplete wasn't a failure, but a warning. A message buried not in language, but in unfinished action. The patterns we keep missing. Across continents and centuries, a strange pattern emerges. Advanced construction, sudden silence, and deliberate concealment. Göbekli Tepe was buried intentionally. The Sphinx may predate the civilization credited with building it. The stones at Baalbek were carved but never moved. In each case, the question isn't just how, but why. These aren't isolated anomalies. They form a chain of quiet messages. Some left half-built, others buried beneath sand or sealed beneath temples. Some, like the Maya codices or the Rapa Nui Rongo tablets, hint at written systems we still can't decipher. Others hide in plain sight, disguised as mythology or dismissed as legend. Yet, taken together, they suggest a shared impulse, to preserve something or to keep it hidden. Perhaps these civilizations weren't just reaching for the divine. Perhaps they were responding to something, an event, a memory, or a fear that forced them to encode their knowledge in the only language that endures, stone. And perhaps, in a way, they weren't building for themselves at all. They were building for us. We used to think ancient monuments were built to glorify gods or kings. But what if some were warnings? What if the most precise stones were messages? Not to the past, but to the future. If you want to uncover more stories hidden in plain sight, subscribe, explore, and keep digging.